Okay, welcome back. Story time again here on Advice from the Road. This is probably one of the funniest things that's happened in my career. I had a couple that came into my office, and we were going to do some investments, some retirement planning for them, and do the whole ball of wax. And they sit down at the table, and I noticed when they pulled up, they were driving in kind of an average kind of car. Wasn't passing judgment on them or anything. I was just kind of looking at them as they walked in. And so we start to gather some data. I asked them, how old are you? What are your goals? What do you want to do? And they said, well, we want to retire at this time. We've got some money, but we're not sure what to do with it, all this stuff. And I said, okay, so how much money are we talking about here? And the wife looks at me and she says, well, we might be too much for you guys, because we've been to some of the larger firms, the real big brand name firms that do the advertising on TV, and they've told us that we got too much money for them and they can't take it. I said, really? Wow. How much are we talking about here? Because these firms rarely turn away. Now, you cannot have enough money for them, but rarely will they ever say, no, that's too much, we're not going to take it. Especially these firms. They're very well known. You can probably name them off the top of your head pretty easily. So I said, okay, well, that's interesting. I mean, we may be too much for us, but we might be able to help with part of it. Just how much are we talking about? Well, the wife says, well, it's a little complicated. I mean, a lot of it's tied up in court right now. We're in some litigation and some lawsuits, but we're expecting a judgment decision pretty soon. So right then, things start to crack a little bit, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe this isn't what we think it is, maybe not as, we'll see. And the husband looks at me and he says, well, I might as well be honest with you. And puts his arms up on the table, looks at me and says, we are worth $16 trillion. I said, 16 trillion, really, with a T. Yep. Wow, you are just about as big as the entire U.S. economy, which at the time was 16.2 trillion. He said, yep, that's how much we got. I said, well, that's too much for us. But I tell you what, I said, when you get the judgment, let us know, and we'll see what we can do. That's probably not that funny for you, because but for me it was, because that's a lot of money. $16 trillion is the entire size of the U.S. economy. And they said that with a complete straight face and walked out of the office, and I never saw him again. So, but it was funny for me because I just couldn't believe. I mean, I've heard people throw out some large numbers before, but a number that big, the size of the entire U.S. economy, I mean, not even reasonable. So anyway, but that gave me a good chuckle, and a story that I'm still telling 15 years later. If you know of anybody that has that much money, like this, comment, share it, introduce us to your friends and family and those you care about, and we'll help them as best we can. Thanks.